What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? This your boy 2 Cups Shawty, man. Welcome to this week's episode of 2 Cups of Truth. As usual, you know who I got here with me. I got the queens of the court, starting off with D Royale, the serial rebel.
Welcome to a show where you can come and get the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help my rant. This is your girl D Royal, the serial rebel, coming to you live and direct from Hot Atlanta.
And you know who up next. I got Lady X.
Hey. The often imitated, never duplicated Lady X. She floats like a butterfly and sings off key. Lady X, that's me.
What say you in the building, man? Let's go. Let's get this.
Living every day under the threat of death, I feel discouraged sometimes. Living every day under extensive criticism, even from Negroes, I feel discouraged sometimes.
Listen, two cups, like ice.
Hey, look, so let's get back to it. In between the break, we was having a conversation about what we was talking about and how we get in these situations and how this stuff happened with our youth and with us people, period. And then the term came up from D-Raw, bad parenting. So just getting into bad parenting, like, just to get this ball to rolling, like, what is the appropriate age for your kids to cuss? And when you cussing around your kids, like, and what age were you when you started cussing? Like, what up with this cussing? Is cussing a part? Like, I think cussing and saying certain words around our kids leads to our kids to having sex early. So, of feeling grown.
Okay, so cursing is the gateway to sex. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Cursing
Do you
is
really
the gateway.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, cursing is the gateway to a lot of things. Like, it's a gateway to feeling like adult. Like, so what do grown people do? I'm not gonna say adults, but what do grown people? So when you first felt like you was grown, it was when you first started cussing.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
right
true.
or am I wrong?
Yeah,
You're right.
I think for lack of better understanding, you feel like you're grown. But when you become of a certain age, you feel like it's a liberation. It's freedom. Mm-hmm. You're free. Like, you can just freely do what you want to do, how you want to do it. And that's a part of that quote unquote being grown feeling, right? But I still don't, like as an adult, I was still not cursing around my parents. No. And when did they start cursing around me? As far back as I can remember.
Right. But when did you start cursing by yourself? Like, what age were you? Like 7, 8, when you started to explore? Because I done heard you say some choice words, and I know you hadn't just started saying it. Like, I mean, you got to practice at this. Like everything. You got to take practice. If you hear me talk a lot, you're gonna hear me talk about practice a lot. You have to practice everything. So when did you start practicing?
Maybe probably about 12 or 13, because that's the age where you kind of hanging out outside of your parents and they don't kind of hear everything you're saying and doing. So I would say about 12, 13.
Okay, I'm gonna say a lot younger than that. Probably like 7, 8 for me. Now let me tell you, because my parents are very strict. So whenever I got away, first of all, that school bus it might as well have been Vegas. You know what I'm saying? We used to cut up, y'all. So you're right, absolutely right. My first freedom, my first liberation was a cuss, okay? Yeah. And when I take pride in cussing that ass out, oh my God. So when you talk about practice, I promise you, that's exactly what it was. But to this day, in front of my mom or my dad, like I say, something like, she get on my damn nerves. Oh, sorry, mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though if it's
still not the hardcore.
You never lost your morals.
Yeah, I always, especially when I'm driving, Lord. I love my mom. I hate driving her though, because I'm gonna go off. Like, you know what I mean? And I just have to apologize for it later. But absolutely. But it's so funny. I never even thought of it in that context before. Like, when you start to cuss, you start to think you grown and, or get some of that air about you. And it could lead to other things.
Yeah, it's gonna lead to other grown things, other grown mistakes, other grown moves. It's gonna lead to it. I think it is the gateway. I know I be coming left field, seeing like I be coming left field, but
no, you hit though. Hit.
Hey, but it's but cussing is, I thought was very beautiful, cause I come from a cussing grandmama. And and I tell this story to the youth all the time. I used to tell a story to the youth all the time. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for my dream to cuss. And that's what got me into the lane that I'm in, cause my grandma, cause I had a grandmama, and my grandmama could say some cuss word. It just sounds so amazing. She'd say some magnificent combinations. And she said a combination one day that was so magical, it just touched me into my soul. I said, oh my God, that's what I'm gonna do with my life. That's what I'm doing. And then I went and I asked my mom, I said, Mama, can I cuss? And she was like, boy, gone. And I thought she was saying, go ahead and do your thing. So I went out on the porch. And started cussing, and you know what I'm saying? And the neighbors called Mom and said, well, that boy out there on that porch cussing, that she came in and she was like, you better not be out there cussing and woo such and such. And I was like, you said I can cuss, such and such. So then I just had this intrigue, so I couldn't cuss no more. So everywhere I went, I heard people cussing. I used to be intrigued. If I heard a cuss word, I would stop in my tracks and look at the person who said it. I just it was just like the biggest thing in the world to me. So when I got fast forward, when I got to college and I met my mentor, Dr. Stewart, and Doc would ask me, said, what do you want to do when you leave college? And I was like, I probably just gonna run my own business, because all my uncles had their own business and whatnot. So I was like, I can run business, do that. She was like, nah, that ain't what you want to do. I said, it is what I want to do, Doc. She said, you a damn lie. You gonna tell me what it is that you want to do. And I was like, who is this lady? Because I'm a real street guy. Who is this lady talking to me like that? She looking, she like, oh, you so bad, you gonna tell me what you want to do. And she kept looking at me and she kept saying, say it. And she poked me in my chest. She said, say it. And I looked at her, I said, I want to cuss. And she said, why you wanted to do this? I say in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. And she said, okay, I can help you. She said, but you got to change your major from business to theater arts. And it's not called cussing, it's called comedy. And I think you can do that. And from that point on, I've been doing what I've been doing. So if it weren't for my dream of wanting to cuss, I wouldn't, know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell you, don't shoot a kid dream down because they saying it in a way that you might not understand. You know what I mean? You got to be open-minded enough to really understand. I come from cussing people. And so, so most of the kids that we meet nowadays, us being adults now, these kids come from some cussing people. You don't think these children don't cuss? So do you get mad when you hear these kids cuss, or you be like, oh, okay?
I get upset. All right, so I get upset when I hear children curse, because I just feel like that it shows a lack of self-discipline. Even though we come from cussing people, our parents still knew who to cuss in front of and not. The filter was still on at church. You ain't hear them cussing like they cussing on a Saturday night at church.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know about your people.
I don't know about your church, but my church.
Oh
gosh, yeah. Okay, so for me, it just shows a lack of self-discipline, and it also shows that somebody's not watching. So it makes me think, well, I'm hearing it, so maybe I should respond because I am the nearest adult. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought up church.
You feel that way. I really do, because I don't.
So how you feel, Miss Lady?
Listen, I hear these kids cuss. I said, poor babies, they ain't even using it right. They, just trying to, let out whatever it is and to let out, but overly doing so or imitating, you know what I mean? Because they don't have context to it, you know what I mean? So I just said, oh. So
the Lady X, should we teach them to cuss right?
If you mind, absolutely. But what I bet not here, not now. But when it comes back to like you said, parenting or that having that type of like a mentorship level, or whatever, or a level that the kid can look up to, then, you know, they know where to go with it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my mom, she was like, yeah, I heard you cuss like I said. I said, oh, okay. And walked off. You know what I mean? It was that type of thing. But she wasn't about to hear it. You know what I mean?
Right,
and I knew that to when she said it to me like that, I was like, okay, so I got to watch before it comes back to her. And I knew exactly what I had did, that it came back to her. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tone that down, because I don't think any kid, I don't care who your baby is, you never want to embarrass your mom and your dad. Like, you know what I mean? At the core of it all, you never want to embarrass your folks. You know what I'm saying? So
nah, you don't. So and so even getting into, you know, this cussing, like for me, it's a profession. It's a artistic expression. And if your kids are in the arts and they got a role to play in a play or a movie or whatnot, would you allow them
absolutely
in a artistic way to express themselves that way?
I would. Let me just tell you why too, because, you know, one of my favorite moments on film will forever be is Kings of Comedy, when Bernie Mac broke down motherfucker.
Because the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was, you know, once I just you know, like I said, I've been cussing for years. However, he just did it so eloquently and so entertainingly, like, you know what I mean? Right. That it left an impression on me. And then, so when we lost him, I felt the way, like, you know, that solidified him as family. He was in my heart then, you know what I mean? When he passed away, I really felt the way. Shoot. Yeah, so absolutely. If it calls for the role, but then too, in my opinion, you know, a play or what have you, but that just opens the door for, in my opinion, for further discussion. Like, you have to interact with these young people. You have to.
Absolutely. Yeah. For a role, I would not have a problem with it for a role. That is art. That is how that particular character expresses itself in that particular play or movie or whatever that is. But as far as, like, if my kid is outside just playing and he's just littering off a bunch of F-bombs and just going crazy because he can, that's an issue. That's where we're going to have a conversation, because there is, no matter what, the other people looking at him and what they're going to think about that child, what he comes from, and if he or she is at risk. You understand? That's the automatic assumption when you hear a child that's unsupervised outside just going to town cursing.
Well, mom, let me say this, mom, let me say this, mom, because, you know, because I was told, you know, it's legal to cuss when you're fighting. If you're fighting,
I was just gonna bring up that point. Yeah.
Hey, you're cuss, and when you're playing football. That's why most guys want to play football. They not gonna admit it, but because on a football field, you get to release this aggression in a way, and everything is legal. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You can say, get your, you know, you weak as fuck, get your sorry ass, you know, like, you can do this on the football field, you know, and you can do it when you fighting. That's what we were taught. So the lady X, what say you?
Yeah, going back to D. Royale's situation. So yeah, the kids together, the F-bomb this, F-bomb that, blah, 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 whatever, that's unacceptable to me. But if they're about to square up, I'm gonna beat your ass, that's okay, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Just haven't been there.
So I'm going to ride with you on that, because I agree with that. You know, sometimes you have to add a little fuel to your fire, and sometimes it is that. But when I'm talking about when you're just outside roasting each other, and I'm just going in, that's an issue for me.
Right, I agree.
All right, man. It's time for us to take another break. So, I know y'all hate to, but we gotta pay some bills. Don't cuss, people. Hey, Dr. Shelton say no cussing.